La dolce vita. Vivere ogni momento per
La dolce vita, savouring every moment to enjoy it to the fullest. Isn't this everyone's dream? For sure, for us Italians, this is what we are made of, and in turn, what we recreate, and obviously also in boating. It is for this reason that today I'm here in the iconic Portofino to test the new projects made by an historic Italian shipyard. I'm talking about Verga 1958, and this is Sestante 6.8. Now, if you don't mind, please allow me to calmly finish my coffee, because we will be starting soon. This is the Boat Show.
At the Boat Show.
The shipyard Verga, which carries in its name the date of its establishment, 1958, actually bases its origins a few years earlier, when its founder, the engineer Giancarlo Verga, built in 1952 the first fiberglass boat ever made in Europe. He then founded the historic Vergaplast, where he began the production of many models of thermoformed technopolymer tenders. Today, on the strength of these technologies, Vergaplast Nautica becomes Verga 1958 and presents to the world its most ambitious project, Sestante 6.8. At the stern, two large structural swimming platforms surround a single outboard engine that can range between 40 and 150 horsepower. The sun deck is large, very large, so much so that it is called Aft Miramare Sunpad. Underneath, there is a lot of technical space for the storage, which is safe thanks to the standard active forced ventilation system for gasoline tank fumes, while above, the fold-down seat back converts a portion of it to cockpit front seating. From Matteo Costa's design, in addition to the classic lines with details of a timeless style, the features that characterize the gunwale developed on two different levels are really interesting. That is for two reasons. The first one is that it greatly slims up the freeboard boundary of the whole boat, thanks in part to the colour difference between the gel coat and EVA rubber, which is standard on the entire deck. The second, perhaps the most important one, is that this very design serves nicely for a handrail, or better yet, a handhold when navigating for anyone on board. For those who wish, of course, the pulpit and stanchion can be arranged. Two single-pillar seats accommodate the pilot and co-pilot. The helm station is off-centered to port of the longitudinal axis of the boat, leaving on starboard side of the dashboard a standard plotter, Simrad 7, and the on-off button panel, or even a Simrad ultra-wide plotter. Yeah, because the whole helm station is very wide, but doesn't jeopardize the passage from stern to bow. The bow area is the actual convivial area of the Sestante 6.8, because in the stern, it was preferred to extend the sundeck area as far as possible at the expense of an accommodating second cockpit. U-shaped cushioned bench seat to complete the forward seating on the wheelhouse module. A convertible table in the centre to complete the second sunbathing area on board. Below, there are three lockers with watertight access for easy inspection. This means that who designed this boat knew what seagoers need.
Sestante 6.8.
Sestante 6.8, the name alone really tells us a lot. We know very well that the sextant was an 18th century device that was used to define the direction and position of boats, a forerunner of our present-day GPS. Sestante 6.8 really wants to be the boat that redefines the course of this shipyard, Verga 1958.
Verga 1958.
How? Certainly by starting again from fiberglass on a much more structured boat. Of course, it too can be used as a maxi yacht tender, but in fact, for all its intents and purposes, it is a real day boat with all the necessary amenities to be considered as such.
Comfort necessari per essere considerata tale. Oggi nella splendida realtà di Portofino sono
Today, in the beautiful reality of Portofino, I am sure we did not go unnoticed. The style with which this project was intended to be characterised is absolutely timeless, an absolute homage to the 1960s, with bright pastel colours and a timeless desire for beauty and classic. In short, a triumph of Italianness.
A caratterizzare tutto questo sicuramente I dettagli.
Characterising this are the freeboard details with the clinker present inside the mould.
Dello stampo e poi ancora il
And then again, the almost vertical stem with a very pronounced bow stem.
molto pronunciata.
The study of the hull shape, the water lines and the arrangement of the weights on board was optimised so that the resistance with water was the least possible.
Con l'acqua fosse la minore possibile. Questo perché del
This is because of the Sestante 6.8, there is also a full electric version, which needs an optimal hull design to maximise range. The study, as I mentioned, was optimised on 115 horsepower. We have a Suzuki 150 horsepower in the stern, so more weight on the transom, but also more power. How will the new Sestante 6.8 perform on the water today? Let's find out.
Scopriamolo. Devo dire che la sensazione è
I must say that the feeling is very unique. We have a dihedral angle at the stern of 12 degrees. Well, it's a flat boat, you will say. Actually, the shape of the V of the keel is variable and starts at the stern on 12 degrees to a very pronounced V at the bow. What does that mean? That as long as the boat only touches at the aftmost part of the hull, then at that point it doesn't have as much grip on the water, but it gets a lot of support just in the aft area, just to get it out of the water early.
per farla uscire presto dall'acqua.
If I decrease the power, the wake continues to stay detached even at 11, 10, 9 knots. We are planing at 8 knots. It's unbelievable.
Ma è incredibile.
But when the entire length of the hull touches the water, as in a veer, then it begins to have a very precise course. I may not touch the rudder, and the bow always keeps passing in the wake of the rudder.
La prua continua sempre a passare sulla scia del motore.
Great. But now let's take a look at the fuel consumption before giving it all the gas.
Mare piatto,
Sea, flat, wind, almost absent. We are navigating at 20 knots with 15.9 litres per hour.
26 nodi.
26 knots, 25.2 litres per hour.
Mentre a 30 nodi consumiamo.
While at 30 knots we are consuming 30.6 litres per hour. Calculating that the dry weight of the boat, including the engine, is 900 kilos, I would say that these are very good figures.
Adesso però è arrivato il momento che più
Now, however, my most favourite time has come. The Shipyard claims that with this motorisation, the Suzuki 150 horsepower, the Sestante 6.8 can reach 38 knots. As always, I have 2 goals today. Which ones? You know them. First to reach them, second to top them. OK, at this gate we are consuming 57 litres per hour, and I easily touched 35.9 knots.
Facilmente I 35,9.9.
Now let's optimise the trim. Raise the trim and lift the hull slightly out of the water. Let's make it just the rear end that creates the drag.
Posteriore a creare il drag.
Let's raise the trim a little more.
Signori e signori, con 6.200
Ladies and gentlemen, with 6,200 RPM and a consumption of 57 litres per hour, we easily touched 39.1 knots. I'd say we did it again today.
E direi che anche oggi ce l'abbiamo fatta.
Whether you want to land in the most beautiful harbours that exist or sail amongst the most spectacular coves, surely the Sestante 6.8 is the ideal boat. Why? Because you can do it all, and with a lot of class.